Shalom Beth Am. This is another in a series of bursts of Hanukkah ideas that we decided to share with the congregation this year. And in this one, I want to speak very briefly to the topic that some people refer to as the December dilemma. I am asked all the time, and I know my colleagues are as well, Rabbi, how do I make Hanukkah compete with Christmas? Look around the culture in which we live. From November on, we are inundated with images of a holiday that is not ours, and our kids in particular have a hard time not being pulled into some of the excitement and the music and the energy of that holiday. So Rabbi, how do I make our little Hanukkah compete with Christmas? I want to suggest something counterintuitive. The best way to make Hanukkah compete with Christmas is not to even enter into the competition at all. One of the things I recommend our reminding ourselves and reminding our children with words and with action is that the proximity of these two holidays on the calendar are accidental and have nothing to do with one another. And were Hanukkah to exist on the Jewish calendar in another month, we wouldn't even be asking it to aspire to the cultural levels that Christmas has hit in the United States. I also think that one of the things that we often fall back to all too easily is upgrading our focus on Hanukkah in the gift-giving category, because that is what we assume is the most dominant part of the Christmas culture, and we want our children to feel like they're getting as much fun out of Hanukkah as their kids are, as their non-Jewish friends are getting out of Christmas. Again, let me suggest a counterintuitive path. Some families choose not to give gifts on Hanukkah, not to deprive their children, but because they don't want that to be the focus. They'll give gifts to their kids on birthdays and other times of the year, but they don't want every night of Hanukkah to be about when do we get to the presents, when do we get to the presents. Or they will give all the gifts of Hanukkah on one night, so there are 7 nights of Hanukkah where there isn't even a lingering question of kids being so eager to get through the rituals so they can tear open gifts. And so you might be wondering, what can we do with the other nights of Hanukkah if we're not leading up to giving gifts? Well, here are a few suggestions, and after this is over, I encourage you to send your own ideas into the synagogue for the best ways you have done in your home to make Hanukkah very special and exciting and wonderful for your children, and we'll publish some of them. So for instance, one night of Hanukkah could be devoted not to giving gifts to your own children, but to wrapping gifts that your family has gotten to give to the needy. That can be a way of sharing the Hanukkah light. Another night of Hanukkah could be about playing good old-fashioned dreidel game. Have that be the focus of what the family does after lighting the Chanukiah. Or you can simply make a night of Hanukkah focused around singing manifold songs that are connected to the holiday, the traditional ones, new ones, modern ones that you make up yourselves. I have seen recently a wonderful kit. It's a Hanukkah gelt making kit that you can purchase for $19.95, and the family comes together and actually melt down chocolate, putting them into foil molds, and they make their own Hanukkah gelt and they enjoy it. Once we let ourselves be released from having to make Hanukkah match up to Christmas, we can investigate all the different ways that Hanukkah can be Hanukkah. And that ramifies well beyond the most beautifully wrapped present. As we are in December this year and approach Hanukkah, let us not think of this as a December dilemma, but as a Hanukkah celebration, a celebration that stands on its own, and that we can infuse with all of the creativity and energy and ruach and spirit and fun that it deserves in its own right. Let this be a Chag Urim Sameach, a wonderful and splendid and creative and fun-filled observance of Hanukkah. Shalom.